MobileTech Conference 2012 hier in Frankfurt. Wir machen dieses Interview jetzt hier in Englisch, weil bei mir ist der Juhani Lehtimäki von Snapp TV. Hi, Juhani. Juhani, you just held your session on the do's and don'ts of Android UI design. Just quickly before we start, introduce yourselves to our viewers, please.
Yeah. So my name is Juhani. I live in Munich, Germany. Been here for 4 years. Work for a company called Snapp TV. It's a UK startup. I work from home, from Munich. My passion is Android user interface design and UIs in general, although I'm a developer from my craft. I've been writing a blog about Android UI patterns for a couple of years and getting quite a wide view of design of Android, and that's it.
So you talked about the do's and don'ts, and I'd just like to pick out a couple of the points you made. First off, if we talk about do's and don'ts that are most important, what are the most important aspects with respect to the Android users that you can make?
Well, the thing is that you need to understand that the users themselves aren't designers, so you have to avoid taking their input as just directly implementing them in the UI. Instead, try to figure out what they actually want to do with the application. And of course, in the usability in general, it's a kind of very important to think about the user goals of what they want to do, and don't build features the users don't need. So keep the user interface directly access to the actual goal of the users. So that's why I kind of say that don't take the user's input and just pull it into your application and figure out what's in behind the request and take that as an input to your design.
You also talked a little bit about cross-platform tools, and you have a simple but a definite opinion on that. You think they're bad. Why?
Yeah. So my approach is my experience in the cross-platform tools currently is that there aren't good ones. There's a couple of reasons I think. Firstly, the platforms are very different. It's very difficult to get the cross-platform through by just building it once and trying to deploy it on each platform, because the usability and the user experience will be different and the user expect different things. There's a second level of things, that there are different platforms. Some of them are really bad from technical point of view, like PhoneGap just wraps HTML5 and doesn't work. It just creates bad experience. Then there's other tools like the Titanium accelerator that kind of generates code in the platform, and it is probably possible to build applications that are good, but I haven't seen any. So I would be happy to be convinced otherwise, but until now I maintain my point that don't use them ever. But if I find an application that is good, I will be open to be convinced otherwise.
So also an appeal to our viewers, if you've ever come across an app from Titanium Accelerator that you think is good, give us a hint, please. Another point you made is tablet apps. You simply said don't build tablet apps. Why?
The reason is on Android it's very different from iOS. So the tablets don't exist. There's no such thing as Android tablet. Android devices are continuing from small to large. At some point they turn into tablets, but it's difficult to say where they are. So my approach is always that don't take the iOS approach and build an iPad application, an iPhone application. That's going to be difficult because you don't know where the point is that it should be switching. But instead, build an application that is continuum, scalable application. Responsive design is the approach to do. So one application will run on all devices. It was that the user interface will adapt. So I'm not saying that don't adapt your user interface to tablet. I'm just saying make a continuum instead of two separate applications.
I understand. One of the other very interesting points, because I can really relate to it, is you said don't use tutorial screens, something that really bothers me too. What's your argument with that?
My point is, so tutorial screens, there's a couple of things. The first thing is that users probably have already used your applications. Most users reinstall the application if they like it. And if you push the tutorial screen again, it's just wasted to those users. And the second point is that the new users that actually need it don't yet have the context of your tutorial screen. So they probably will not be able to understand what you're trying to say. So let the users try the application first and then provide them the way to guide them further, either inside the application or tutorial screens that are triggered by the users and asking, give me more information.
Last thing, customization is not an alternative to design, you said. What exactly are you thinking about in this respect?
So my point in there is to this application, like a lot of the open source community, what they do, they try to make everything available to users and let users decide what the user interface looks like. It's impossible to design user interface to be good in every single situation. So I encourage developers and designers saying, we are the professionals, we know how the user interface should look and work, and we build it. So don't leave it to users' responsibility to try to find the correct options to make it work. Just make it work. There's another point in that which kind of tangles into it, is that if you build a property screen that is full of user interface options, full of different things, users will not find those things they actually need. They need some data settings. You might need to actually turn off data. But if you have 10,000 different screens, they won't find the one they actually need.
So the developer makes the decisions and he has to stand by it.
Yeah.
Juhani, thanks a lot for talking to us, and have a nice conference.